And it drives me crazy that nobody else thinks about risk in this way, because think of all the people that like go out partying every weekend and they get like kind of buzzed and they drive home and whatever. And it's like they're taking all kinds of risk that they're not actually choosing to take. You know what I mean? Like they're just choosing to go out and party and have a good time. But then they're like driving a little buzzed and they're like, no, it's fine. But you're like, no, obviously you're taking a risk. Or like you're putting yourself into situations where you're like in a vulnerable situation because you're incapacitated, because you're drunk or whatever. And so, you know, you're putting yourself at higher risk for crime, things like that. And so you're taking risks, you just haven't chosen to take those risks. I'm kind of like, the thing with climbing is that I'm choosing to take the risks, and I'm pretty clear-eyed about the risks that I'm taking. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna say it's perfect, but for the most part, I think I have a pretty good idea of which aspects are dangerous, like when the consequences are high, what will happen if I do fall. You know, it's like you try to think it all out as much as you can. I'm kind of like, how many people in normal life actually think through all the risks that they're taking? And even totally sedentary people who are like, well, I don't take risks, I stay home and I play video games. You're like, no, you're at a much higher risk of heart disease. Like, you're gonna die from other things. You know, it's like, and you're still gonna freaking die either way. Even if you take no risks, you're gonna die. You're taking a different set of risks. And so people look at my life and they're like, well, you're crazy, you're such a risk taker. And I'm kind of like, well, at least I'm taking the risks that I'm choosing, and I'm choosing them very intentionally, and I'm pretty careful about them, and I mitigate them as much as I can. I'm kind of like, well, can you say the same for the risks that you're taking? Or, you know, I'm sort of like the average person, I think, doesn't think about risk as much as they should. You're gonna freaking die either way, so choose the things that you care about and then do them well. Execute, like, have a plan. You know, but don't just like take risk willy-nilly. Like, don't just get drunk and go out and do a thing. You know, because like that's stupid. Like, that's not the risk you should be taking. You know, like, don't put all your money on black and just like hope. You know what I mean? Like, basically, don't just like roll the dice. Like, don't let fate just like roll the dice with your life. Like, make choices.
Almost any accomplishment in the history of the world has come at the hands of people who've taken risks. People who are willing to push the envelope. People who are willing to explore the unknown.
Every failed experiment is one step closer to success. You've got to take risks. I found that nothing in life is worthwhile unless you take risks.
Risk used to drive me right up the wall. I used to say, what if this happens? It's called the language of the poor. What if this happens? And on top of that, if this was to happen, look at the fix I'd be in. I better not try. I could always ace myself out. Then I'll tell you what changed my whole life when I finally discovered it's all risky. The minute you were born, it got risky. If you think trying is risky, wait till they hand you the bill for not trying.
The greatest risk they take is not taking one, and I use it to this day. Anytime I feel that, I feel nervous, like I feel right now, I take the risk.
Whatever it is that you want to do, there's going to be risk in your life, and risk is a necessary component of progress.
The Englishman says, well, if that's the way it's going to work out, let's give it a go. Right, that's what it's for. Give it a go. Somebody says, yeah, but I'm looking for safety and security. Fine, then huddle in a corner. We'll cover you with a sheet, bring you 3 meals a day. And we'll protect you, feed you, look after you, care for you. We won't let anything happen to you. And you'll probably live to be 100. The guy said, well, yeah, I'd live to be 100. But what a way to live. Right. What a way to live safe and secure. Don't ask for security. Ask for adventure. Better to live 30 years full of adventure than 100 years safe in the corner. And see, it's not important how long you live. What's important is how you live. If you think investing is risky, wait till you get the tab for not investing. See, it's all risky. Getting married is risky. Having children is risky. Going into business is risky. Investing your money is risky. It's all risky. I'll tell you how risky life is. You're not going to get out alive.
And my biggest fear, honestly, was, let's say this. Let's say I don't care if you believe in God or not. I don't care. So this is play a game with me. Let's say you're God, and we have a big fucking long line of people. And I made it to heaven. 75 years old, I'm 300 pounds. I made it to heaven. I worked for Ecolab my entire life, spraying for cockroaches. That's what I did. But I'm dead. I'm in heaven now. And you're judging us all now. I see my name. I see all this shit. And God goes, hey, you say, read this, man. And I'm reading this list and I'm seeing 182 pounds, Navy SEAL, Ranger School, motivational speaker, changing lives. Okay, man, pull up record, all this shit. And I'm like, that's not me, man. And God looks at me and says, that's who you were supposed to be. And my biggest fear, I visualize some crazy shit. My biggest fear is that one day I'm gonna reach a judgment of my life. Something's gonna judge me what the fuck I was supposed to be in life. And what I want now is that whoever judged me up there, I want them to have a board and them up there right now getting their pen out. Because this person who judges you is supposed to know everything. Supposed to know from the time you're dead to the time you're, time you're born, time you're dead. I want this person up there to be like this, up there writing more about me, saying, "Fuck, I know you can do that. I know you can do that." So I want to impress whatever the fuck is up there, whatever's going on in life. I want to go up there and not have anything left on the table. I want to drain my soul of every fucking bit of person I am.
Well, you should be afraid of taking risks and pursuing something meaningful. But you should be more afraid of staying where you are if it's making you miserable. It's like the first thing you want to do is dispense with the idea that you get to have any permanent security outside of your ability to contend and adapt. It's the same issue with children. It's like you're paying a price by sitting there being miserable. And you might say, well, the devil I know is better than the one I don't. It's like, don't be so sure of that. The clock is ticking. And if you're miserable in your job now and you change nothing, in 5 years you'll be much more miserable and you'll be a lot older.
You could be brilliant, but you're a coward. Now stop saying that! That's exactly what I'm talking about! Stop being so fucking weak! Again!
My mom telling me all the time, you need to get a plan B. You need to go to school. Man, you know me in school don't, right? I'm gonna go to school, folks.
Y'all lay tight.
I'm gonna go to school and I'm gonna get in the fight. I'm getting kicked out of college. Like, I'm in school.
Yeah.
Man, I'm gonna make this work. I used to tell her, I'm gonna make this work. It ain't no other way. It's either this, dead, or jail. Like, it's no other way. Like, this is gonna work. It have to work. So if I can control that, it's on me. So I knew in my heart and in my mind, like, hey, when in doubt, it's gonna be me against you. And I always said that, even as a young fighter, and they asked me, how do you see this going, or what if this happened? I said, man, listen, when in doubt, he gonna have to kill me. Cause he might got a plan B, but I don't.
Make your move before you're ready. We're instructed in life to walk by faith and not by sight. See, you want to really begin to stretch yourself. You want to become a risk taker. You want to raise the bar on yourself. Most people won't do that. See, most people engage in low life living, low risk living. This God said, if you're not willing to risk, you cannot grow. And if you cannot grow, you cannot become your best. And if you cannot become your best, you can't be happy. And if you can't be happy, then what else is there? I like what Helen Keller said, life is short and unpredictable. Eat the dessert first. You want to begin to take some chances. You want to begin to challenge yourself and make it okay to fail and learn from your failures. Don't allow fear of failure and the allure, the attractiveness of playing it safe in life to draw you in. You can't get out of life alive. You got to die to leave here.
And now is the time to take risk. So I would encourage you to take risks now. Do something bold. You won't regret it.
Most people do not avoid risk. They only avoid the kind of risk that looks dramatic. They avoid the obvious danger, the visible danger, the kind of danger that other people can point at and judge. They avoid the cliff, the fight, the business decision, the uncomfortable conversation, the public failure, the move that would make everybody look at them and say, "Are you crazy?" But every day, quietly, slowly, almost invisibly, they take risks they never chose. They risk their health by living in a body they never train. They risk their peace by staying in a life they secretly resent. They risk their future by refusing to make a decision. They risk their potential by hiding behind comfort. They risk their soul by becoming excellent at surviving and terrible at living. And the strange thing is, they call that safety. They call it being responsible. They call it being realistic. They call it keeping their options open. But many times what they really mean is this: they are afraid to choose a meaningful risk, so they accept a meaningless one instead. That is the part most people never understand. You do not get to live without risk. You only get to choose which risk becomes yours. There is the risk of trying, and there is the risk of never knowing what would have happened if you tried. There is the risk of failing in public, and there is the risk of dying privately with a life full of excuses. There is the risk of going all in on something that matters, and there is the risk of spending decades protecting a version of yourself you do not even respect. And at some point, a man has to stop asking for a life with no danger. That life does not exist. The question is not, how do I avoid risk? The question is, which risk am I willing to carry with my eyes open? Because there is a massive difference between risk chosen with intention and risk taken by accident. A person who gets drunk, loses control, drives home half-conscious, and tells himself everything is fine is not brave. He is careless. A person who wastes 10 years in distraction, never trains his body, never sharpens his mind, never builds anything real, and then wonders why life feels heavy, is not safe. He is simply paying for a risk he never admitted he was taking. But the person who looks at a hard path, studies it, prepares for it, respects the danger, accepts the consequences, and still moves forward because the thing matters, that person is different. That person is not reckless. That person is awake. There is a kind of risk that destroys you because you were asleep. And there is a kind of risk that builds you because you chose it with your whole mind, your whole body, and your whole future watching. You can lose either way. That is the cold truth. You can lose by trying, and you can lose by hiding. You can lose by taking the leap, and you can lose by staying where you are. You can lose money by investing, and you can lose your future by never learning how money works. You can get hurt in love, and you can grow old having protected yourself from the only thing that could have opened your heart. You can fail in business, and you can also fail by spending your life building somebody else's dream while yours slowly suffocates. So do not be proud just because you never took the obvious risk. Ask yourself what your comfort has cost you. Ask yourself what your hesitation has already stolen. Ask yourself what part of you has been quietly dying while you were busy calling yourself careful. Because the bill always comes, the bill for not trying, the bill for not training, the bill for not speaking, the bill for not starting, the bill for waiting until you felt ready, the bill for needing everyone to understand you before you moved, the bill for having a plan B so soft, so comfortable, so available that plan A never had to become real. And this is where life separates people. Some people want a backup plan before they have even given their real plan a chance. They want the door open behind them. They want a safe exit. They want a soft place to fall. They want to say they are committed while secretly keeping one foot outside the fire. But there are moments in life when the thing you want will not respect you until you remove the escape route. There are dreams that do not respond to casual interest. There are futures that will not open for a person who is still negotiating with comfort. There are battles where the man across from you may have a plan B, but you do not. And that is not stupidity. That is decision. That is the moment where you stop living like someone who is available for every distraction, every doubt, every opinion, every fear. That is the moment where your life stops being a suggestion and becomes a command. You do not need to be perfectly ready. You need to be honestly committed. Readiness is overrated. Most people are waiting for a feeling that never arrives. They want confidence before action, clarity before movement, courage before the first step. But real confidence is usually built after you move. Real clarity often appears while you are already walking. Real courage is not a warm feeling in your chest. Real courage is the decision to move while fear is still sitting beside you. Make your move before you feel ready, not blindly, not stupidly, not like a fool throwing his life into chaos and calling it bravery. Make your move with a plan. Make your move with discipline. Make your move with respect for the cost, but make your move. Because if you keep waiting until the risk disappears, you will wait until your life disappears with it. And one day you may reach the end and realize the danger you feared was not the real danger. The real danger was never the mountain. The real danger was never the business. The real danger was never the rejection. The real danger was never the hard conversation, the lonely season, the long nights, the years of effort without applause. The real danger was meeting the person you could have become and realizing you never gave him a chance to exist. That is the judgment that should terrify you, not whether people laughed at you, not whether they understood you, not whether you lost once or twice or 10 times, but whether you lived so carefully that the strongest version of you was left untouched, unseen, unused, like a weapon that was never drawn. Make your move before you feel ready, not blindly, not stupidly, not like a fool throwing his life into chaos and calling it bravery. Make your move with a plan. Make your move with discipline. Make your move with respect for the cost, but make your move. Because if you keep waiting until the risk disappears, you will wait until your life disappears with it. And one day you may reach the end and realize the danger you feared was not the real danger. The real danger was never the mountain. The real danger was never the business. The real danger was never the rejection. The real danger was never the hard conversation, the lonely season, the long nights, the years of effort without applause. The real danger was meeting the person you could have become and realizing you never gave him a chance to exist. That is the judgment that should terrify you, not whether people laughed at you, not whether they understood you, not whether you lost once or twice or 10 times, but whether you lived so carefully that the strongest version of you was left untouched, unseen, unused, like a weapon that was never drawn. Imagine standing at the end of your life and being shown the man you were capable of becoming, the body you could have built, the discipline you could have earned, the lives you could have touched, the family you could have protected, the money you could have mastered, the pain you could have transformed, the fear you could have walked through, the work you could have created, the courage that was sitting inside you the entire time, waiting for you to stop negotiating. And imagine having to say, that was not me. That is the nightmare, not death, wasted potential, a life where you survived, but never truly spent yourself. a life where you kept your soul preserved, polished, protected, and unused. A life where you left too much on the table because you were too afraid of what it would cost to become who you were meant to be. Do not leave yourself on the table. Do not arrive at the end with your best strength still stored away. Do not die with your real voice still trapped in your throat. Do not spend your years protecting a weak identity because the stronger one demanded too much sacrifice. You were not born just to avoid pain. You were not born just to be comfortable. You were not born just to be agreeable, safe, predictable, and easy to understand. There is something in you that requires pressure. There is something in you that only wakes up when the escape route closes. There is something in you that cannot be discovered through comfort, only through commitment. And yes, it will be risky. Everything meaningful is. Marriage is risky. Business is risky. Love is risky. Investing is risky. Changing your life is risky. Staying the same is risky. Speaking the truth is risky. Swallowing the truth is risky. Training your body is risky. Neglecting your body is risky. Walking into the unknown is risky. Remaining in misery because it is familiar is also risky. So stop pretending risk is the enemy. Unchosen risk is the enemy. Blind risk is the enemy. Lazy risk is the enemy. Drifting into consequences you never respected, that is the enemy. But chosen risk, disciplined risk, meaningful risk, the kind of risk that pulls you closer to the man you know you could be, that is not the enemy. That is the path. And if you are miserable where you are, you should be afraid of change, but you should be even more afraid of staying. Because time will not pause for your fear. The years will not wait until you are emotionally prepared. 5 years from now, if you change nothing, you will not be standing in the same place. You will be deeper in the same place, older in the same place, more tired in the same place, more resentful in the same place, more convinced that life did something to you, when the truth is you kept choosing not to choose. That is how fate rolls the dice with a man's life, not because he was cursed, because he never took the dice back. So take them back. Make choices. Choose your risk. Choose the pain that builds you instead of the comfort that drains you. Choose the difficult conversation instead of the silent resentment. Choose the lonely discipline instead of the public excuse. Choose the dangerous dream instead of the safe regret. Choose the road that demands more from you, because the road that demands nothing will eventually take everything. You do not need a perfect beginning. You need a serious one. You do not need everyone to clap. You need to execute. You do not need life to promise you safety. You need to become the kind of person who can adapt, endure, learn, recover, and keep moving when the ground shifts under your feet. That is real security. Not a soft life, not a guaranteed outcome, not a plan B you hide behind every time the path gets hard. Real security is the ability to contend with life, to stand in the storm and not collapse, to take a hit and reorganize, to lose and learn, to be afraid and still move, to choose a risk so meaningful that even failure would be more honorable than never trying. So do something bold, not reckless. Bold. There is a difference. Reckless is throwing your life away because you never thought. Bold is giving your life to something you have thought about deeply, something that deserves your sacrifice, something that makes you more alive even when it scares you. Pick that thing, then do it well. Study the risk. Respect the risk. Prepare for the risk. Mitigate what you can. But when the time comes, do not stand at the edge, forever worshiping your own hesitation. Move. Because the world does not need another man who knows what he should do but never does it. The world is full of those men with ideas, men with plans, men with potential, men with excuses polished so well they almost sound like wisdom. Do not become one of them. If you are going to take a risk anyway, and you are, take the one that has meaning. Take the one that may turn you into someone you respect. Take the one that your future self will thank you for. Take the one that makes your life feel like it belongs to you again. Because in the end, the safest life is not the life with the fewest dangers. The safest life is the one where your soul does not have to lie. So choose your risk. Choose it with clear eyes. Choose it with discipline. Choose it with your whole chest. And then execute.